Gear 5 absolutely wrecks the divine beasts of Elbaf on this island nation, and at last, the Sun God has finally revealed himself. One Piece. Episode 1158 dropped in anime form last night. The group of 5 from the East Blue is now seriously getting ready to explore this land full of mystery. The Lego Kingdom looks vast, almost endless, but there's not a single sign of life anywhere. That eerie silence sends a chill down everyone's spine. After Luffy's group takes only a few steps forward, a man suddenly appears in front of them, riding a giant grasshopper. He is clearly dressed like a giant from Elbaf, but his body size is no bigger than an ordinary human. Luffy walks up and asks about this country. The grasshopper rider says he does not have time to chat, and only gives them a brief introduction. He says he is the lord of this place, mainly in charge of taking care of the giant cat, the hedgehog in the castle, and that dim-witted giant rabbit. Luffy is just about to say something, but Usopp instantly covers his mouth. Zoro and Sanji both look a little nervous too. After all, those 3 giant beasts were the ones the Straw Hats beat up earlier. The rabbit had it the worst. It is already sitting inside Luffy's stomach by now. But the grasshopper rider has no idea. He only warns them never to go to the other side of the castle, because that is where Lord Sun God rests. There is also a pack of brutal guards watching the place. Anyone who dares get close to the Sun Temple does not make it out alive. The moment Luffy hears that the place is dangerous, he gets even more excited and charges straight toward the Sun Temple. His crew tries to stop him, but nobody can hold him back. Zoro hears there might be a strong opponent there, and that gets his blood pumping too. So the whole group runs toward the edge of town. But in the very next second, Luffy slams straight into a giant mirror. Cracks spread out non-stop, like the sky itself is about to collapse. The others watching from a distance are completely stunned. The people in town even think the whole world is about to end. But in reality, Luffy has just smashed through an invisible wall. And with that one hit, he also exposes the truth behind this kingdom. Right in front of them is a giant sewing machine, and the floor is covered with half-finished toy parts. It is obvious now that this is the room of some giant. The town they had just been exploring turns out to be nothing more than a fake toy world. Before anyone can even process that, Chopper's cries for help suddenly echo from a corner of the room. It turns out the Straw Hat's emergency food supply has been trapped here the whole time. The second Chopper breaks free, he throws himself into Nami's arms and bursts into tears. Meanwhile, the others start searching through everything around them. While Luffy's group is still discussing what to do next, a massive cobra, dozens of meters long, suddenly appears. It opens its blood-red mouth wide and gets ready to attack. Then, giant wild beasts come rushing in from every direction. The Straw Hats seem to be completely surrounded. At the same time, a giant wearing ceremonial robes and holding a sun scepter is making his way toward the room. The moment he opens the door, he almost faints from rage. The inside is already total chaos. The floor is covered in wreckage, and fierce flames are burning everywhere. Zoro uses one sword style to cut down the birds and beasts. Sanji uses Ifrit Jambe to blast away the giant rat. And Luffy, in his Nika form, just sweeps through everything in sight. One unstoppable punch is enough to finish off the giant serpent. Very quickly, the 3 main powerhouses of the Straw Hat crew wipe out every last monster. When the Sun God suddenly appears, Luffy does not choose to fight him head-on. Instead, he turns around and runs back toward the Lego world with his crew. But before they get very far, the giant cat they beat up in the previous episode blocks their path. Clearly, it still has not learned its lesson. So, the Straw Hats have no choice but to beat it down one more time. This time, it is completely convinced. It obediently becomes a mount for Luffy's group. The giant cat sprints forward at full speed. And as the Sun God stares at his ruined temple, his fury explodes. It looks like a brutal battle is now unavoidable.